Yo, 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 good morning, everybody. Welcome to the SBP. We are live in full effect. I'm your boy Prime Source. Was good.
What's going on, Prime? How you feeling on this good Sunday?
I'm feeling real good, man. Today gonna be something special. Just all the way around, man. I'm feeling real good today. The sun is out. I got family's good. I got plenty of beer in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? You and I are gonna talk some hip hop later on today. You know,
Yo,
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You know what I'm saying? So, but you say you good though.
yes, sir. I'm just chilling. It's another day, another dollar, another day of pushing the book. You
My
know,
man.
the short from source to the people. And yeah, that's about it, man. It's been a good week. I did a common theme live.
Word?
2 hours of common. Yeah, on Juneteenth, 2 hours of common, and then later that day I did 2.5 hours of Andre 3000. Friday did 2 hours of Ice Cube.
Mm.
Yesterday morning did 2 hours, 3 hours of Saturday morning vibes, some 80s and 90s R&B vibes. So yeah, it's been a fun week.
I appreciate everybody checking us out this morning. We are running a short this morning because we got something that Source and I've been talking about for a minute. After this, we're going in. We'll be coming back on live around about 12 o'clock ish. We're going to talk some hip hop. We're going to talk some hip hop. New series we got called Know the Ledge. And we're going to talk hip hop. So, and we're going to have a special guest, maybe two, but definitely one. And we're going to have some fun with that. So, but we felt like we needed to handle this basketball business because there's been a lot of people trading places, moving destinations, and the whole 9 yards over the past week or so. So we'll get right into it. Most notably, more recent, we had the situation with Chris Paul is now with the Golden State Warriors. So Phoenix opted to move him to Washington, and then Washington, of course, they made the moves to get him over to Golden State. So there are a lot of opinions about this. A lot of them is not as favorable as I thought that I may see. But what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's a nice move. I like it. I like it. I like it for multiple reasons. Just in case, just in case the Draymond thing, like just in case Draymond still decides to do something else, you have a floor guy who can distribute the ball without issue. So worst case scenario, Draymond said, I don't care, I'm leaving. You know, you got a guy that can control the floor and distribute the ball, which still allows Clay and Steph to run from corner to corner. You got Wiggins on the slash. You got, you good money. You good money all the way around. But if you have Draymond and Chris Paul with Clay and Steph running around and Wiggins slashing, woo, woo, that's a problem. That's a problem. And Chris Paul himself can get his own bucket. It's not like Chris Paul
Yeah.
can't get a bucket. Even at 38, he can get his own bucket. But specifically, if they go to the pick and roll, bro, if they go to the
Woo,
pick and roll, they're gonna make your whole lineup different. Like you better
woo.
out rebound them people crazy. You better out rebound them crazy because they're gonna make your lineup look crazy, and you gonna have to put out lineups that you ain't never seen before and never thought you'd throw on the floor at the same time. It's gonna be interesting.
Talking about pick and roll. Let me pick and roll real quick to the people. Guess this morning. Uh, AJ, what's up, my brother? Eric Brown in the house. Ant is actually Clark. So he's started using his real name. So I got, yeah, Clark Griswold. Ant is in the chat today. What's up, my man? Caesar was good.
Wow.
Don, my main man, was going down. Hey, Don, we talking 80s and early 90s hip hop here at 12 o'clock. We coming back on, bro. So, yeah, jump in the chat, man. Jump in the chat if you are free. We're going to be talking some good stuff. 50 years, bro. 50 years. So, we're going to do that at 12 o'clock. Uh, so, good morning, everybody. But, yeah, man, I'm with you. So, this is, so what's this? Chris Paul's fourth team the last 6 years. And I think that there are a lot of positives to this. And I saw during, the group was like, how's this going to work? There's no way that he starts. There's no way he does it. Now, it would be interesting to see if he was to start, because I'm thinking how you would do that. You would think they would go back to their regular lineup, right? And you would think they would go down, of course, with Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond if he's back, and who's in the middle? Looney. So you would figure that would be the lineup, and if you can convince Chris Paul to come off the bench. And, a lot of people say, no way, with his ego that he's coming off the bench. But what is off the bench these days in basketball? Let's be honest with you. You look at Looney starts, for Golden State, right? And what's my other man they had back there? The other, what's the big
Wiseman?
Huh?
You talking about Wiseman before he left?
Well, Wiseman for it. Well, not talking about Wiseman, but anybody, just about any team that's had a center or a power forward. And a lot of these situations, or even a guard, starting is not what it was years ago in the NBA, right? You can find a lot of bench players that play more minutes or just many minutes as some of these people that are starting. So I'm not 100% convinced that Chris Paul isn't going to start. I'm not, because if you look at, and I don't think that he is, but I'm convinced that he's not. Because if you look at this lineup and someone what they could do, you take a guy like Wiggins. So if you want to take Wiggins, say you move Wiggins back, he's going to get his minutes, right? That's your spot coming off the bench if they choose to do that. He's a fairly okay on-ball defender. Chris Paul's not where he used to be, but Chris Paul is still a decent enough on-ball defender. They can get in and make some things happen. So I see the positives either way. I do believe those sources. I don't know how you feel about it, that no matter who starts, what lineup they go with, I think there's going to be a lot of times late in games that are still to be decided that both Steph and Chris Paul are going to be on the floor together. I think so.
Of course. All the time. Yeah, I'm not really concerned if he starts or not. I mean, I have no problem with him starting. Like, if that's what they choose to do, they're going to make you come out different. Plus, like, how many big men are dominant offensively at this point? Like, real big men. It ain't many, so it ain't like them having CP and Steph on the court at the same time is really going to pose that big a problem defensively. Like, no more than, I mean, they had the same lineup with Jordan Poole on the court. So, what's the difference? Ain't no difference. So, but yeah, whether he starts or comes off the bench.
It's small ball.
Yeah, they can do what they want. They can do what they want because they've done what they wanted before and won a championship. So,
yeah, I think everybody was out here talking about how is Wiggins going to feel about that if that was to happen, like what I just talked about. If they started him, or how would Chris Paul feel about it? I think you've got the right gentleman in that locker room. I think you got a pretty darn good coach too. They're preaching, culture, this, winning championships, and they're proven. So I think Chris Paul is going to be fine with it either way. I think the interesting thing that we need to speak on is if Draymond is back, which a lot of us think that Draymond is going to be back. What's the dynamic between him and CP? Because I don't know if you remember back in about 3 years ago, in the All the Smoke podcast, he basically told them that he does not like CP. He said, I do not like CP. I don't like him at all. But he did say, I do respect his hustle. So it will be interesting to see those two egos in the locker room and on the court together, which I think they could definitely work it out. But it just would be interesting.
Yeah, they be yelling at each other though. They're gonna be yelling at each other. Have you ever seen Draymond yell at Steph? I can't remember. One time somebody said, "What are they gonna do when Draymond and CP3 are yelling at Steph and Clay and everybody else?" I'm like, I can't think of a time I've ever seen Draymond yell at Steph. Not one. Not in my mind. He don't yell at Steph.
No. I think I seen him get a little animated a couple of times, but not like yelling. You know, they just, you do what teammates do,
Right. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting statement. But yeah, the fact that CP3 and Draymond aren't friends necessarily, I could see friction there. It's always friction. It's always friction. I mean, you got Jordan Poole thing, you had the KD thing before that. Even though it didn't start out friction, it turned into that. So just another part of the puzzle.
We know that, Don.
Exactly. It's gonna be somebody. Draymond can't like everybody at the same time. Like that's too much. My question is, how do we like is there even a reason to approach or broach the topic of the fake laugh, Joan? The fake laugh is the dumbest dog. That Joan, he even got me the first time I saw it. I was like, ah, and then he stopped laughing. I was like, I know Steve Kerr felt stupid. He had to feel stupid. I felt bad for him in the moment.
Steve can get away with that. You and Chris Paul, do you think that moves the needle for them a little bit? We all know that everybody's chasing the Nuggets now. So
yeah, that's a whole different set of problems. So it's a different set of problems. Everybody trying to adjust to what the Nuggets are. You can't even trust the Nuggets for real because you've had major injuries to two of the main four, I guess you could say. Three of the main four, actually.
Three of the main
four. Dang, yeah. You can't just go in. I mean, not that you're counting on somebody being injured, but you can't just expect them people to show up and be all healthy at the same time again.
Right.
It's only happened one time. So, yeah, still chasing Denver, but it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, all it's going to be fun to watch. And we, like I said, we do think that Draymond is going to be back. Steve Kerr did make the comment before, we aren't a contender without Draymond. So, that is what it is. So we'll check to see what goes on that front. Where you can get that $100 million, we don't know. He asked him for them big dollars, but Draymond obviously wants to be back. I don't think he probably really wants to play with anybody else, but maybe Bron. He wants to be out there. But we know Draymond want to stay.
He gonna hit him with the Kobe. I don't want to go nowhere.
What do you think about this move right here, though? We had the Celtics make a trade. So out goes Marcus Smart. In comes in Kristaps Porzingis. In this one, a guy that I know pretty well. And I'll say it's a move that I like, but I still have questions. And I like the move because now you got him as a guy that gave you, put up his best season of his career at 23 points last year. But he's your third guy, right? So he's your third guy. He doesn't have to be the one or the two. He can be your third scorer. He's a guy who's a little bit better defender than people give him credit for when it comes to swatting shots. He's averaging almost 2 a game. But his arms and he's long enough to distract some players when they're trying to put up those buckets. Him going to Boston, that's something else I don't want to mention, but he probably be all right over there. So that being said, I think it's a pretty solid move. My one question would be though, what the point guard at? I mean, are they going to be happy with who be Derek White, right? Who be Derek White would be the point guard. Would they really be happy with him as potentially a starting point guard, or is there going to be some other type of move coming down the line? I don't know what they could do though, but
yeah, because they're moving a lot of pieces, a lot of money bouncing around. Now you still got Brogdon right now, right?
No, Brogdon gone.
Brogdon is gone. What I meant?
Yeah, Brogdon. I believe did they yank Brogdon out of that trade?
I'm looking it up now because
look it up. That's how I mentioned something. Brogdon was supposed to be in that trade.
I see trade rumors. I don't see any trade.
And I could have missed it. Because remember, this was one of the deals that was just like the It had a lot of moving parts to it, like the Chris Paul deal did initially, where they announced what was going to be included, and then it ended up just a tad bit differently.
Yeah, I don't see
Maybe,
anything
okay, maybe he did.
confirming that he moved. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, we can think about it without him. Ain't no problem with Derek White. I mean, I think
Oh, so a trade collapsed.
yeah, I think Derek White is a. I think they trust him more. You know, after his performance, uh, the latter part of the season, I think they trust him more. I think they got enough going on in the point guard realm that they felt comfortable letting Smart go in order to get a big man that gets buckets. And you know, I know a lot of Boston fans aren't as happy with the loss of Smart, and I appreciate the fact that they value Smart. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. Um, it still doesn't solve the the riddle of Tatum and Brown. So
Right.
all this stuff is just window shopping. Is it window shopping? It's moving stuff around that you can see. You know,
Think you
pay no
know?
attention to the object in the mirror. I don't know. It's just moving pieces around, but skipping over the problem. The elephant in the room.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Okay, I'm seeing. So you did collapse, and it's because of Brogdon's injuries concern. So I totally missed that. There was a trade with the Clippers. There was a trade possibly with someone else, and now they're saying across the NBA there are significant injury and health concerns with Malcolm Brogdon.
You hate to see it. Hate to see it.
No doubt. But other than that, like I said, I think it's a solid move. I'm a little bit higher on Marcus Smart than some people because the one thing that I wonder is that glue piece. And I'm not trying to question Tatum or Brown's character, but it was something about Marcus Smart on that court that you can see, and they say he's a pretty vocal locker room guy too. And it's crazy when you see him do an interview. He's like seems like a kind of a humble guy. A little different when he's on that basketball court. So I think this is a piece that a lot of Boston fans that I'm seeing across social media are not feeling it because that's just one of their guys. He was one of their own.
Right.
Folks outside of Boston was like, yeah, he's a good player, but it's no big loss. So time is going to tell because Porzingis is definitely not that glue guy. You know what I'm saying? Not that they're going to ask him to be, but he is a significant he's a significant three, I think, for what they do. He can light you up at any given time. And he's a guy he can score from anywhere too. So he's a guy that can score under the basket. He's a guy that can pull you away from the basket. So when they go to some of that spacing, as long as the ball movement is there, he's going to be dangerous. He can be dangerous with those two guys.
Agreed. And Smart in Memphis,
Yeah.
they needed a veteran presence and someone that wouldn't be scared to talk.
Yeah.
They need somebody. So, yeah, that's gonna be a task right there. That's gonna be a task.
Yeah, I think with that too, you got a guy who can run the point for the 25 if they need him to. That Ja gonna be gone,
Right.
and then he's a guy that you easily that you can bump over to the two. You bump over to the two when Ja comes back, and I guess who? So if he plays the point, so does that mean that Bane comes down for a few games?
You taking Bane off the court?
No. I'm talking about so. Would he come down to be into the SG slot?
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I guess we don't even know what's really gonna happen for real.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to tell who they're gonna throw because they got to do something. I guess they gotta do something. They got to replace the guy they lost, regardless if some of us value him or not. You got to replace him.
True indeed. That's going to be something to watch right there. I think they got enough of a team there they can still be fairly competitive. What did they finish? Number 2 in the regular season last year? Number 2 or 3? It was number 2. Number 2. But anyway, over
because they lost to the 7th seed.
Yeah. Makes
Remember?
sense. They would definitely
Remember that? Yeah.
Very, very interesting there. Something else that came across, and actually this came across a week ago today. Because I remember the funny part. I remember I was in the coming out of the actual movie theater because we didn't do a show last week. No, we didn't do a show last week.
No, it's Father's Day.
Yeah, it's Father's Day. So we didn't do a show last week. So I remember coming out of the movie theater with my son, and this one of the first things that actually popped up on my phone, and that was Beal being traded to the Suns, waiving his no trade clause. And a lot of people thought it was inevitable that he would eventually grow tired of being in DC. So he's over there with KD and Book now, and of course Chris sparked the super team comment in the group earlier this week. Does this make them a super team, Source?
Which one of them got the rings to the point that you trust them with the other ones to call them a super team?
Good point. That is a
good. For real, like, well, why? Because somebody has 3 good players, does that make them a super team? It's a super team because they got 3 players that you like that score a lot of points.
Super depleted team.
But y'all in general, y'all were saying Brooklyn was a super team. Wait, y'all was saying Brooklyn even when it was just the 2, y'all was saying that Brooklyn was going to win the championship before a single game was played, before everybody was even healthy. Y'all was like, oh yeah, Brooklyn going to win the championship. Anything else will be a disappointment. Well, guess what? And people didn't get nowhere near a championship, even after adding a 3rd. So it's just 3 players together. That's it. And it's not like they didn't remove Chris Paul from the equation. You can't be hype on Chris Paul going to Golden State and think it's good and a big deal, and then be like, well, he didn't matter in Phoenix. Like, people's whole perspective of a player change depend on who is standing beside. And yeah, nah. Plus, there's one basketball. And I like this move, but there's one basketball. There's one basketball. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Super team, no. Nah, ain't no super team.
Book 27 points a game last year. KD in his short, what did he play? 8 regular season games, I think. With 29 points a game when he was on the floor. You're bringing over Beal, who at 23 points last year, a man that 2 seasons ago averaged 31. So we know what he can do, what he's definitely capable of. But also, along with this move comes the injuries, right? You go back over the past 2 years, Booker's missed 43 games, KD has missed 60, and then Beal has missed 74 over the past 2 seasons. So something to watch, and even more so with the team that it's pretty much depleted. Like, at this point, with the way the money's lined up, the only thing they can hope to do is to re-sign their free agents. Not really make any moves. I mean, you got with Torrey Craig, Damian Lee, and Bismack Biyombo. Most likely they will sign all of them back, I would guess. And if not, they'll find cheap options. You have to hope that campaign shows us a little more of what they showed us. He showed us 2 seasons ago versus last year. They hope some things for him at the point. Which I think there'll still be large stints that he still may not be on the court. Well, they're going to have to put him on the court. But I think we saw a lot last year with Book. Book actually ran the point a lot. And you'll see that even more so now. But Beal, will help them create great spacing once again. And you got 3 guys who can definitely knock down the shot. It's just what's behind them. And you're praying every night that somebody's not getting hurt.
Right. That's the key. But they say the best ability is availability.
It's availability.
Got to be out there.
Yeah, so we saw how the no trade clause can be such a key in this one. As I mentioned a couple of shows ago, the good thing about it with Beal is you don't totally have to pick a team apart. I mean, the Suns were already picked apart for real before this season. A lot of it to do with the KD situation, but they're still able to keep the 2 stars there. So We'll see what happens. Offensively, this is a move to finish at the top of the West. Oh, yeah. They're going to drop bombs on people. It's not a doubt. Defensively, there's your problem. So the bombs definitely going to have to be dropped on offense because I just don't see it defensively, especially when you get past these guys there. But I'm going to take my hat off to the new owner, Matt Ishibia. He's going all in now, trying to win it, knowing they don't really have no money. But, hey, I'm going to go out there and put the best product I think I can put out there, at least an exciting product. And he seems to be a guy that's all in because even watching the WNBA, I've seen him at every Mercury game.
So,
Yeah. So shout out to the new owner, man. He's going all in. Whether it works this year, I don't know. But this is going to be very interesting to see how this goes down. It definitely got to be a Christmas game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, this definitely got to be a Christmas game.
Imagine Phoenix against Golden State on Christmas.
Whew. Hey, NBA people, y'all listening? Y'all listening?
Yes. Run it up. 151 to 147.
Before we get out of here, man, we're going to give some quick shout outs as we do most shows in love. First, I want to say, I feel bad over the WNBA for my girl, Brianna Jones. Went down to injury, lost for the season for a team who has been the second best team in the league so far this year. And that is a big blow for them. Not that they don't have a great cast around her, but she was really getting it done down low. And love her attitude. She fit that team perfectly. So I feel bad for her on that. But I do want to show these ladies some love before we peel out over in the WNBA. I don't know if you saw this or if you can read this, but they said there has been 3 40-point performances so far this season, tied for the most in a single regular season in WNBA history. And, of course, you see what we got up there. We got Stewie, we got Bonner, and we got Larike. So the girls out here lighting it up. Somebody went for 30-something the other night. It was close to like 35, I think, to the floor. But shout out to the ladies. They out here lighting that thing up, man. So much love and respect.
Absolutely. Stewie is the future GOAT.
Yeah, no doubt. And I want to send some love too out because I'm being biased, but we talked about Candace Parker, and I watched them a couple of times this past week, and I love the way she's embracing her role of not being on the court at times, being on the court, but we're still seeing, say what you want to about her game and being the player that, not being the player that she once was, but her passing hasn't gone anywhere. Man, she out here looking point guard crazy on them. You know what I'm saying? If the point guard ain't out there dishing crazy passes, it's Candace Parker because that vision is crazy. I'm talking like Magic Johnson, bro.
Yeah, speaking of the point guard.
Yeah, speak on it.
Did you see that joint, the behind the back joint?
Did I?
Hey, that joint was crazy. Y'all need to see that joint. I don't even know. I can't remember who they playing.
I don't even remember. I just see the play in my head though.
Man, if you see the video of Chelsea Gray with the behind the back pass to Asia Wilson on the break. When they show the, like, if you see the clip, actually I posted it. It's in my IG story. If you look at it, the actual video, look at the slow-mo, and then when the ball gets to Asia, look at Candace and look at her face. She was like, yeah.
Yeah.
That was mid-play. She was like, yo. She appreciated that joint in mid-play. That's how crazy the pass was.
I haven't seen the update on the WNBA All-Star. I don't think they even posted it yet. The voting, but point guard better be in there. The point guard, she better be in there. 9 yards. That's all I got, man. We'll peel out. Like I say, for those of you listening now, if you're into hip-hop, we're about to talk some hip-hop here in about a half an hour. And we'll be talking 80s and maybe some early 90s. So we'll be right back up. So be sure to join us on that. Feel free to jump in the chat. So from a hip hop levels for everybody else. We appreciate y'all. Source, you got anything before we get out?
Nope, that's it. I'm with it.
All right. We catch y'all on the next one. 12 o'clock, y'all. 12 o'clock, 12:05, something like that. Hip hop over everything, man. Check us out for Know the Ledge. We out.
Yeah.